Don't give up. Fight forever. Don't give up. Fight forever. Don't give up. Fight forever. Fight forever and ever and ever and ever.
We're going to be doing 3 auction items, and you must have a highspotsauctions.com account for it to be a part of all of the fun here tonight. So make sure you have an account if you want to be in any of the bids. As it comes to sit right in.
How long we got here?
Oh, we don't want long. We've only got 3 auction items, Kevin. So.
All right, because I might have to run a catheter.
You and me both. They may have to start an IV.
3 egg whites, 14 peanuts, 2 dates, no BS.
No. All the funnest of gas station food for you, Kevin. Like
so I can't eat chocolate.
Oh, you can't eat chocolate?
No.
Well, yeah, I think of the blueberry ones. If you grab one of those for you.
I'll get it later.
I'll get it later. But right now, we're gonna do a couple auction pieces.
All right.
And obviously, anybody that wins these auctions, Kevin can sign them however you want, but you got to pay that invoice immediately after you win the auction. And guys, as a reminder, the bids will start at 5 and then work their way up. But then once it gets to a point that you're back and forth, let us know if you're in or out. Let you let us know that you're in. You can go higher than the top bid. If you're out, no harm, no foul. Just let us know that you're out, so we can put this on a 6-second clock, then a 30-second clock, then the 10-second basketball count. We're going to go start off with a big piece right here. You've probably seen every type of wrestling piece today, but you've also seen a couple of Super Shredder items.
Yes.
This is a one-of-a-kind watercolor art piece from one of our artists that we do a lot of art pieces with. This is Vin A. He did a wonderful one-of-a-kind watercolor art piece, and we're going to be auctioning this off. If you win this auction, Kevin will sign this one. We'll take it out of the seal, and he'll sign it however you want. But we're going to be auctioning this piece off right here. And
a lot of people don't. I mean, they're not going to give the artist's name, but that's actually by Salvador Dali.
Okay.
That's one of his few pieces that's not surrealism. So
it is very unique piece. Anyway,
it
was one of the things that didn't make it in the traveling show that they did the Salvador right before the pandemic. It was going to all over the place. It had a nice little stop in Atlanta.
Yeah, but that's actually if it doesn't sell for the right price, it's going to St. Pete.
Okay.
It's back to the Dollar Museum.
Yeah, there or maybe the Smithsonian. It's
That's a toss-up next to the Babe Ruth ball.
Yeah, exactly. And the Mickey Mantle baseball card that went for $5 million. One of those. But Kevin, like I said, you've actually signed a lot of Super Shredder stuff today.
Right.
And obviously you've had a long career, not just in wrestling, but in movies and acting. And was Super Shredder like where it all started?
That was my first film. And then my first lines in a film were "Then so be it." So that was, it was funny because my mom, God rest her soul, she, they went. It was something that's like the last scene of the movie, and like she sat there and watched it with like my sister and my dad, and like the movie theater cleared out, like the lady was sweeping up the
popcorn and everything.
and she was like, "That was my son there at the end." she was one of those kind of moms. She wasn't too proud, but so that was kind of cool. But yeah, it all started with Shredder.
Yeah. I mean, how did you like? Did they approach you like, "Hey, we just need a big guy"?
Well, actually, Kevin. So the rumor has it that Kevin Hall was supposed to play Super Shredder, and he played the original Predator, and he got pneumonia and died, and they had already started the costume, and so they knew basically. I think Kevin was taller than I was. I think Kevin was 7'2", and they I want to think we were in Greensboro, and they had watched wrestling on Saturday afternoon, And they saw me and they said, of course, they gave the wrestling height, it's the 7 foot. And so they said, oh, that guy's 7 foot. So they showed up in Greensboro at a house show, WCW house show. And I still was, because I think I did like 5 shots as a Master Blaster. Then my original partner fucked off. And they brought Al Green in to work with me. And, but I was just working singles and doing jobs. And I was walking out and the guy said, hey, hey, hey. He was screaming at me. I was like, he says, I give you this. He handed me the card and I looked at it. He says, you want to do a movie? And I said, yeah. And this is before cell phones and all this. So it was just like, I basically had to say come and follow me. So they walked along the railing and they got to the curtain. I told the security guy to let these 2 guys come back. And they were staying at like a Holiday Inn or something like that. And they basically, I left with them and they did a head mold of me in a hotel with a plaster with the tubes up my nose, and so they could start making the helmet and everything. And since I wasn't being used, I think my first contract with WCW was like $104,000 or something like that, and they offered me like 75 grand to do this movie. I was only there for 3 weeks, so it was just like immediately I went, oh. And then, of course, you get treated like a god on a movie set as opposed to dragging your bags in pro wrestling. So this was, of course, before each guy had their own bus. But I think Taker brought that up. I'm not sure. But yeah, so I mean, it was just like they handed me the role, and I had one line, and it wasn't like I could screw it up because I had a damn helmet on. So.
Yeah, they could overdub it later.
Yeah.
Even if you blew it, they're we'll just overdub it.
Yeah. And it's actually they didn't. I mean, that didn't. So I mean, that's actually my voice. So no, that's how it started, and like anything, you need back then. I think it was like a Taft Hart. They had some kind of you had to be a SAG actor to be in a movie, or you had to have like a clause to get in a movie. My physical size was a clause that got me into SAG. So I got into Screen Actors Guild, and I've been a member of Screen Actors Guild since I think we shot that thing in 90, maybe 91. I think it came out in 91. I think we shot it in 90. So I've been in the Screen Actors Guild now for 31 years.
Yeah, great run with it, but right now...
And I get it, and it's the only thing that I'm going to get a retirement from. Yeah. Besides the money I save, but I mean, I've done enough work now where I get I think I'm 21 or 22 years vested where I'll get a retirement, whether I'm alive or not. So at least my wife will make some cash after I croak.
Yeah, that was one of the things that Terry Funk was like, hey, I got my retirement while working SAG as opposed to pro wrestling.
Nothing in wrestling. You got to save that.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like
that's why I drove here in a 2005 Mustang, folks, because I don't spend it. I don't spend a dime.
Well, that's why you're one of my favorites, Kev. I think we got the same business sense. You've just made more of it than me.
That's all right. It doesn't matter how much you save, not how much you make.
That's very true. Well, right now we've made about $200 with Dan Sky. He's waved everybody off. We're going to go put it on 30-second clock right now. Dan Sky, we got no other people jumping in right now on the bids. Looks like we can go ahead and put it on the 10-second clock because it's been sitting here for a while. Dan Sky, $200 on this original art piece by Vinay or Salvador Dali. That is, we're going to go do the countdown right now.
Countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Of course.
Dan Sky, winner.
Winner right there. Winner. Chicken dinner on the 10-second basketball count. Dan Sky. Make sure you pay your invoice, but you always do a fantastic job. He gets how this whole operation works. But we're going to move on to another item. This is the basketball card that we previewed earlier. It's a Now and Then card. It's a TriStar card. It's a TNA card. It's a picture of you Playing for the University of Tennessee.
Tennessee?
Yeah.
Where I
And-
smacked the coach and got thrown out of college.
Good. I was going to work into that slowly. I'm glad you jumped right to it, Kev. I was going to how do I gently discuss this part of your history and life? And I'm glad we led with that, just right out of the blue. Now, if I'm not mistaken, when were you at Tennessee? Were you just
77 was my freshman year.
okay? So I'm trying to figure out where that was with Bernard King.
No, that was Ernie and Bernie. But Ernie Bernard would have been a senior had he not. He got caught stealing the VCR out of the basketball during the summer, so he got thrown out of school. So don't worry, Bernard. My junior year, I followed you, baby. I got thrown out with you. So. I might not have had Bernard's stats, but we left in the same fashion. But yeah, he was a great player. But so my coach decided after I got a fight at the Kentucky game, and my coach decided he was going to grab me by my jersey and he was a Bobby Knight disciple. He played at Ohio State, and then he broke in as a coach, as an assistant coach with Knight, so he thought he was Bobby Knight. But he was actually a bitch! He got... The big white dude on the team is like the crazy... all the black dudes on my team are just like, that's a crazy motherfucking white dude. This funny story is, you know, they had everybody, but they really didn't have a center.
Yeah.
It's like, this is all the black guys on that team told me this one. Well, once we all hung out for a while, and they realized we got to Detroit kiddie school, and so they're reading that they signed this 6'10", guy from Detroit, and in their minds, man, it's just like this, 6'10" shot blocking. In comes this long hair, pot smoking, crazy fucking white kid from the south side of Detroit. And you're like, this is exactly what we thought we were getting. I think that's for everybody down in Knoxville.
Yeah.
But Knoxville's a great city. I was a little bit too Detroit for Knoxville.
Yeah, was that just a culture clash, or was it just his coaching just didn't mesh?
He was a dick.
Yeah, I had a dick of a college coach too. I'm a different I don't need to be yelled at. I'm motivated enough.
Well, see, the thing was, I found out later on, years and years after it was over, that my coach, his wife used to come to basketball practice, and she would take pictures with one of those lenses. And I guess he found underneath the bed this box of 800 pictures of me.
Oh.
So I think that was his problem. Mm-hmm. So, and it wasn't like I had anything to do with it, because she was not an attractive woman. But I think that was the underlying root to his disdain for me. That and the fact that I shot about 43% from the free throw line.
that'll do it. That'll do it.
Sorry, Don. Second dick.
Well, right now, as far as who's leading the way right now in the bids is Steve Newberry. But Steve Newberry, we need you to get a Highspots Auctions account to be a part of all the fun. Right now, Craig Usher is in at 50, but Steve Newberry is at 60 right now. But Steve Newberry, we need you to create an account for us to recognize the $60 on this bid right now for this
That
sign
story was worth $60.
At least. And another story that's interesting about you that's always like, you are when it comes to guys that I want to be in wrestling, it's always you, because you took care of your money, but you always had an interesting life coming into wrestling. You were always super cool the whole time you were doing it. You make wrestling what you want it to be. But you just had this very interesting story before you ever got into wrestling, of course, with playing basketball. But you were in the Peace Corps, or
I was in the Army.
The Army, yes. I remember you posting on Instagram.
Yeah, I was in the Army.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I can say it's because they don't exist anymore. But I worked at a NATO site, and we
yes,
had
that's what it is.
We had items vital to national security which is a nice way to say the shit that they dropped on Hiroshima. We actually had 155 howitzer rounds that had the nuclear yield of 5 Nagasaki bombs. So imagine a field artillery unit shooting, and the round, when the round was so hot going out, you could fire 1 round out of the 155. But back then, what the scenario was for basically World War III was that the Russians would do a mass armored movement, and the only way that they could kind of get from Russia to Europe was through what they called the Fulda Gap. You can Google this; you'll see the scenario. And basically, what we did was we were to beat them to the Fulda Gap, and then when they started, of course, once they moved their armor, our satellites would pick up the heat image of moving that much armor. Mechanized armor. I'm not talking about fucking like medieval shit, like tanks. And we would basically wait till they got there, and then we just dump everything we had right into that gap, and of course probably die 6 weeks later, radiation. But that was kind of what I did. So that was my job before wrestling.
I was saying before, and I'm sure, like, you know, dealing with potential World War III couldn't have been any worse than growing up in Detroit. Am I right? Like,
you know, it was like until '67, like Detroit was sweet.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a couple of white cops caused some shit, at an all-night place, and the riot started. And we all know how that goes. It's just it's starting to rebound, but I mean, it's still. I was showing my kid the other day where we look on Zillow. There was an 11,362 square foot house, 15 bedrooms, 13 baths, for the amazing price of $2,500. A little bit of a fixer-upper.
a little bit, just ever so slightly.
That's, you know, right. Probably need to take the old plumbing out and maybe put PVC in, something like that.
Yeah, just nothing. Just maybe
Yeah.
put those shutters back up just a little bit.
Doorknobs.
Put a French awning on it. You're going to be okay then after that.
But one thing about all those old houses in Detroit, man, they're all brick. And every one of them's got a gigantic basement. So that thing's, I think it was 3 or 4 stories tall. That thing has to have probably a 3,500 square foot basement that was probably to have 19 dead crackheads in it, buried in different parts. So.
Great root cellar, I guess. Would probably.
Dylan Free at 65.
Dylan Freeze at 65 right now. Also, too, remind you guys, we have this wonderful new COA sticker right on the top there. It's a Highspot COA. Once it's sealed, and once it is cracked open, it's no longer valid. But our COA system, we put you in the nice hard card case, and then, of course, the Highspot sticker is the COA for that particular piece right there. Dylan Freeze at $65. He's in the lead right now and has been in the lead for a while. We're going to put it on a 30-second clock right now. Dylan Free, you wrote this basketball card signed by Kevin Nash himself from TNA, TriStar. Picture of him playing basketball. Probably his coach's wife had the same picture underneath of her bed at home, but probably wasn't autographed by Kevin himself right here.
No, I never signed anything for that woman.
No, definitely not. But right now, we're gonna give a 10-second basketball count for Dylan Free. Right now, it's $65 in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Dylan, yes.
Dylan Free. We'll let the lag catch up, and as soon as we get the thumbs up, we're good to go. We'll move to our last auction item of the evening. It is actually another action figure. Clear. We're good. All right, we are going to do another Super Shredder one, but this is
my first action figure.
I know, right?
My first action figure was not a wrestling figure.
Yeah, and this is also a good one. Not only is it a very good condition card, but like the hole is not punched out, so it was never put on a peg. So for those who are figure collectors, just to have that be noted that this was never poked through and held up in stores. This was sitting in a box somewhere out of
You
Josh's.
see, that was because they did a reissue of these. Let me just see what year this was produced. Well, I don't know what the fuck it's at, but I know they did a reissue of these.
1991, I think. I see over there.
See it? Do you see
Yeah.
it? Sure. What point it out? Oh, yes.
Yep.
Package 1991. By Vivid Videos. That's weird.
No, it's weird. Yeah.
Weird.
I mean,
Crazy.
that's crazy. But
That's an old reference.
yeah, there's not a lot of Vivid Video releases anymore that we
No,
can
I don't think
discuss.
so.
Oh,
I don't think Vivid. I don't think any of those companies exist.
well, that's not in the world of streaming so much anymore.
No.
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 But
I tell you what, though, back in the old VHS days.
or even those DVD days, you put a DVD player up and you put it on and you drive
Best
down the
of
road.
Savannah.
Yeah, just drive down the road, keep you awake.
I'm talking about Georgia. Savannah,
Yeah, of
Georgia.
course, Savannah, Georgia.
Nice city.
The wonderful
Where's your
Starlight.
house? 165.
Right out of the
Where's
gate.
your house? Steve coming in at
80?
180.
180. Steve Messa coming out hot. Kevin Nash's first action figure, which you'll sign once you win and pay your invoice. Which hopefully we have Dylan Freeze paid for his action.
Drew
card.
coming in strong at 190.
190. People jumped right out on top on this one. But you've had a lot of action figures over your career, Kevin. What was your favorite action figure that you ever saw?
Well, that one there was great.
Yeah.
Though I don't like you don't actually get. It's not actually a per se Kevin Nash figure, but since you're the only person that ever played Super Shredder in the actual flesh, that was my first one. Mm-hmm. And then the first one I ever had in WWF before the WWE was the Bendham.
Yeah.
The Diesel Bendham was my. We're going to Richard Reese is jumping in at 220.
220,
Thank you, Richard.
Yeah, right away.
Makes me feel good that $3 items worth that much later.
We don't-
30
this
years
was
later.
a $4.89 thing in market value back in
Wow,
the day.
yeah.
I used to cut so many lawns just to get all of those.
Yeah, those are.
Never-
I actually have one of those.
Yeah?
I have one of those at home. Yeah, there's very few things I keep, but I actually have one of those. And then they sent me the new ones, the new shredder.
What are some of the things that you keep at your house? Like obviously the Super Shredder, but what are some other things that you hang in your
I
house?
have, let's see, I have a figure set of me and Scott, a figure set of me and Sean. I don't know, I think they're both elites. I have those. I have the one that has me, Hogan, and Scott. And then I have the one that has, I think it's me, Scott, Batista, Zabisco, and Brock.
That's a weird set.
It's a five. Yeah, it's like somebody. I was somewhere. We're moving up. We're going 260.
It's back. It's been back and forth. Steve Mess has been back and forth. Drew
Richard,
Smith.
this is like me on that what's it called? Bring a Trailer. You ever see that?
No, I've never seen that.
Bring a Trailer. They got like every week. They usually it's two a week. They've got. I'm looking right now. They've got a 1960 Cadillac that's been repainted green. It's amazing, and I think it was. I lost out on a. It was a 2009 AMG 63 S Mercedes. It had 28 or 29,000 miles on it, and it was like the opening. It opened at $8,000. So I know how much I pay for those S classes. You know, because I buy my wife one every couple of weeks. Maybe a used one, of course. But and I was trying to steal this thing, and man, I went to bed and woke up the next morning and went from like 8 to 33, and I went, oh, keep the Mustang.
Yeah. Well, right now, Drew Smith is keeping all challengers away. Richard Reese has been back and forth. Steve Mess has been back and forth. But Drew Smith right now at $275. And as a reminder, guys, it is the unpunched card, so it's never been held on a peg before. Which
Richard and Steve are out.
They're both out, so we can go ahead, put this on a 30-second clock for everybody to see.
Looks like Drew's the man.
Yep, Drew is standing alone right now at 275, and we're going to get down to that 10-second basketball count, the ever-important 10-second basketball count right now. And as a reminder, everybody else that had auction wins, hopefully you've paid for your invoices, so that way we can get it personalized as soon as we get Kevin off the camera. Probably one of the quicker auction blocks we've ever had, but right now it's going to be even quicker in 10 seconds. Into 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
LeBron James 1100.
What? LeBron coming in out of nowhere.
King, I would have gave it to you.
I mean, gee, I thought he would pass it to somebody else on the other team there for a second.
He says, no, give it to Drew.
Give it to Drew.
Thanks, Drew.
Thanks, Drew, so much.
It makes me feel good, man.
You're going to get that invoice in your email account, but Drew, you know how it works. You pay this, and we'll get it signed however you want it signed. But, Kevin, this concludes the auction block. I got to say, when we finally booked this, I was so excited to see you again.
Yeah.
You have always just been, like, the coolest dude.
Thanks, man.
You've
always been cool to me, though.
I mean, yeah,
You're cool. You're good dudes. I mean, it's like, I'm nice to everybody. The only piece besides that dick that was my coach. I mean, I'm pretty hard. If I dislike you, you're really a dick. Because I'm pretty tolerant. So.
Well, you've been tolerant with all us all day, and inscribing all these things and signing all these things. But before we get out of here, and I send you back over there to keep working because you don't make any money right here, so or make any money for us, that is.
That's true.
Let's edit that.
I'm not
correctly.
making any money for you guys.
For us. But
right.
Before we get out, is there anything you want to say to your fans and everybody that tuned in tonight about the 8x10s, the turnbuckle pads, and everything else?
Anybody that tuned in, it's just like, I think a lot. I didn't realize how much I enjoyed interacting with fans, and just like hanging out at cons and stuff like that. And it's been a long year. I mean, the people at the liquor store, man, they're tired of seeing me. But it'd be nice to see my, like I said on Twitter, it'll be nice to see my NWO family. When I get this, we get shots. I saw somebody in here today that's working here. He lives in North Carolina, and he lives in a small town, and he's gotten a shot. And he's probably 20 years younger than my 62-year-old ass. Yet I can't get a shot. Come on to Santos, you prick. Cough up a shot for the Nasher. So I'm last now, right? All right, I'll go to Detroit and I'll buy one on the black market.
Well, hopefully maybe we get some legit vaccine in here soon enough. Johnson & Johnson will ship it off here.
That's right. I want the Johnson & Johnson anyway. I want the one shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus it's better against the South African. I mean, I've already had the U.S. one, but I'm sure I've had the U.K. one. And when I came home from Qatar, I was sick as a dog. It was before this shit. And that's half Chinese is Qatar, so I'm sure I probably had this shit about 9 times. So.
Get them hooked up, guys. But we've been hooking you up with all this wonderful Kevin Nash merch. So thank you so much for tuning in tonight to this edition.
I'll trade signatures for vaccines.
Yes, if anybody's got a hookup, let us know in the Facebook comment thing. But if you guys need your JR signed 8x10s, tomorrow sign it live, JR 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on this very Facebook page. For Kevin Nash, this is Jake Manning. Thank you very much for tuning in to VGT.
Don't give up. Don't give up. Fight forever. Don't give up. Fight forever. Don't give up. Fight forever. Fight forever and ever and ever and ever.